Thank you for watching this video. Through this brief video, I would like to introduce several important initiatives that have been developed to advance awareness, research, education, and institutional international collaboration in workplace mobbing field. For many years, workplace mobbing existed largely as an under-recognized phenomenon, kind of fragmented. Many individuals experience it, but there were limited institutional structures dedicated specifically to studying, documenting, and addressing it systematically. Over the past couple of years, we have gone through an important process that I would describe as the institutionalization of workplace mobbing research and education. Today, we have established the World Association for Research on Workplace Mobbing, also known as WORM. We have established the Journal of Workplace Mobbing as an academic platform dedicated specifically to workplace mobbing research. We have also established the Niagara Conference on Workplace Mobbing as an international forum for scholarly dialogue, collaboration, and public engagement. Before I introduce the WORM, the journal, and the conference, I would first like to discuss a little bit about the term mobbing. What is workplace mobbing? Many people had never heard of the term mobbing, or they assume that mobbing and bullying are the same phenomenon, just described using different terminology. This assumption can be very misleading. Although bullying behavior and actions are components of the mobbing process, workplace mobbing represents a broader, more systematic, and more organized group phenomenon. Not all bullying cases are mobbing cases. However, all mobbing cases involve various forms of bullying acts and behaviors. In other words, bullying is part of the mobbing process. But a case cannot be defined as workplace mobbing unless it progresses through the identifiable phases of the mobbing process. According to the 5 phases of mobbing model, workplace mobbing typically develops through the following stages: ostracism, administrative harassment, the incident, various appeal procedures, elimination. Therefore, workplace mobbing is not simply interpersonal conflict or isolated bullying behavior. It is a deliberate, coordinated, and escalating process that may ultimately result in the exclusion or elimination of the targeted individual from the workplace, even from the society. This development of WORMs, the organization, the journal, the conference, are important because they help create an academic and organizational foundation for this field. Since the publication of the WORM Facebook page in early March 2026, we have received millions of views, thousands of engagements, and hundreds of followers internationally. This significant number of comments, questions, and messages from people around the world has shown that workplace mobbing is not an isolated issue affecting only one country, one profession, one individual, or one organization. It is a global phenomenon that impacts individuals, organizations, and the society across many sectors and cultures. Another major initiative is the Journal of Workplace Mobbing. Since the inaugural issue in June 2025, this journal has received nearly 2,000 abstract views and over 1,500 PDF downloads internationally, with a conversion rate of more than 79% as of now. These numbers demonstrate not only strong scholarly and public interest, but also the growing global need for research, education, and scientific understanding regarding workplace mobbing. The strong engagement with the inaugural issue suggests workplace mobbing is far more widespread and globally significant than many people previously realized. It also demonstrates a growing international demand for research, education, and scientific dialogue on this issue. We have been receiving many submissions to this journal as of now. Another important initiative is the Niagara Conference on Workplace Mobbing. The conference brings together scholars, professionals, advocates, practitioners, and individuals from different parts of the world to discuss research findings, their experiences, prevention strategies, organizational responses, and future directions for the field. For example, the 2025 Niagara Conference on Workplace Mobbing brought together 91 participants from across the United States and 16 countries, reflecting both the geographic reach and the growing urgency of this field of inquiry. Notably, 42% of attendees were returning participants from the 2024 conference, underscoring a sustained commitment and the emergency of an engaged international community focused on workplace mobbing as a serious social, organizational, and policy issue. The 2025 conference featured a robust academic program, including 26 paper presentations, a panel discussion, demonstrating the increasing depth and continuity of scholarly engagement. Representation was overwhelming from the public sector, about 98%, spanning government agencies, higher education, health care, school district, law enforcement, the judiciary, and legislative bodies, highlighting the relevance of workplace mobbing to institutions central to public trust and governance. Participants also reflected a broader academic and professional diversity across disciplines such as psychology, psychiatry, sociology, law, criminology, education, management, political science, public health, communication, economics, and computer science, alongside practitioners, administrators, and students, including doctoral researchers. Taken together, this converging of sustained participation, interdisciplinary engagement, and global reach underscores the urgent need to advance workplace mobbing from an emerging area of concern into a clearly defined and systematically developed field of science, capable of informing evidence-based policy, prevention strategies, and institutional reform. The conference will continue to serve as an international platform for meaningful dialogue and collaboration. All these above-mentioned numbers from the WORM, the journal, the conference reflect not only increasing public awareness, but also a growing global recognition that workplace mobbing is an important social, organizational, and scientific issue that requires greater attention. We believe workplace mobbing should not only be discussed as an individual experience, but also studied as a serious organizational, psychological, social, legal, and public health issue. One of the most important goals moving forward is to creating the science of workplace mobbing. For many years, people have experienced workplace mobbing without having clear terminology, systematic research, or sufficient institutional recognition. We believe it is essential to continue building rigorous scholarship and educational frameworks so that workplace mobbing can be better understood, identified, studied, and addressed worldwide. By this, I mean developing a more rigorous scientific framework for understanding workplace mobbing as a distinct organizational and social phenomenon. This includes advancing theory development, interdisciplinary research, conceptual clarification, methodological approaches, case studies, comparative international studies, educational programming, and evidence-based prevention and invention strategies. As part of this long-term vision, we are currently in the process of establishing an Institute of Workplace Mobbing. The purpose of the institute will be to further promote research, education, international collaboration, publication, professional training, and public awareness related to workplace mobbing and related organizational phenomena. Our hope is that this work will contribute to the development of a stronger scientific and educational foundation for future generations of researchers, practitioners, organizations, and individuals around the world. We believe this is only the beginning of a much larger international conversation and scientific endeavor. We're also in the process of producing a workplace mobbing education program series on the WORM YouTube channel. These educational programs will discuss the following topics: understanding workplace mobbing, patterns and process, bullying versus mobbing, when targets go to HR, the myth of the lawsuit, consequences of mobbing and lessons from the mobbing experience. Today's video is only a brief introduction. Follow us on social media, World Association for Research on Workplace Mobbing, WORM, on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Mark your calendar. The third NIGRA Conference on Workplace Mobbing is going to be held on July 20 to 22nd, 2026 in Niagara Falls, Niagara University, New York. The next year's conference, the fourth Niagara Conference on Workplace Mobbing, is scheduled to be held on July 19th to 21st, 2027 in Niagara Falls, Niagara University, New York. Contact us should you have inquiries. Thank you very much for your interest, support, and engagement with this important work. We look forward to continuing this international conversation together. Thank you.